Ever noticed how often the manipulative ones seem to get ahead? You know, those who don't hesitate to deceive, break a few rules, or exploit others? It's frustrating, right? We grow up being told that good things happen to good people, that justice wins in the end, and that the bad guys get what's coming to them. But sometimes it feels like the opposite is true. It's like there's an unspoken rule that rewards those who aren't afraid to cross moral lines. And, as unsettling as it is, understanding this reality can really open your eyes to how the world works. So, how do we make sense of this? Let's take a look at Niccolò Machiavelli's The Prince, a classic book on power and human behavior. Now, Machiavelli's often misunderstood as the guy who says it's all about being evil to succeed, but that's not exactly it. He was more of a realist. He didn't think strict morals always worked when it came to getting ahead. For him, it was about what actually gets results. Machiavelli argues that those who don't mind lying, manipulating, or stepping on others are at a real advantage. The world isn't a fairy tale, and if you want to rise to the top, you can't get too caught up in morals. This leads to one of his most famous ideas: the ends justify the means. Basically, to achieve big goals, whether it's power, wealth, or success, you might have to get a little messy. Machiavelli's not saying being evil is the way to go, but he's pointing out that not being held back by morals can sometimes lead to faster, more decisive action. It makes sense when you think about it. The ethical people, the ones who hesitate because they don't want to hurt anyone, can get stuck in the process. Meanwhile, those who don't mind stepping over a few lines move forward without thinking twice. They treat life like a chess game, each move calculated and strategic. This ruthless efficiency gives them a huge advantage. They don't worry about consequences, they just act. For them, being a leader isn't about being liked, it's about being feared. Fear is something they can control. But love? That's out of their hands. Look around in business, politics, or everyday life. You'll see plenty of people who seem to thrive by throwing the rulebook out the window. They manipulate, deceive, and exploit without a second thought. And sure, it works for them in the short term. But here's the real question: is it sustainable? And is the price of success really worth it in the end? Machiavelli's The Prince introduces two key ideas that define power and lasting success: virtù and fortuna. Virtù for Machiavelli isn't about being morally virtuous. It's about the mix of skill, boldness, intelligence, and adaptability. The ability to shape the world around you to suit your needs. Those with virtù aren't afraid to break the rules when necessary. They're strategic, thinking on their feet and adjusting to situations with precision. They move with purpose, taking risks when others hold back. This is where the more ruthless types thrive. They manipulate, break the rules, and act when needed. Machiavelli compares a good leader to both a lion, for strength, and a fox, for cunning. The wicked ones use both power and deception to get ahead. But here's the catch: virtù alone isn't enough. Fortuna, or luck, plays a huge part. Machiavelli believed that half of life is shaped by luck, and the other half by how we respond to it. Those who are willing to ignore moral constraints tend to navigate fortuna better. They act quickly when others hesitate, seizing opportunities without fear. Fortuna is like a stormy river. Those with virtù can ride the chaos and turn it to their advantage. They don't fear uncertainty, they embrace it. The combination of virtù and fortuna is what gives the more unscrupulous types their edge. They seize opportunities and even create their own, acting boldly in ways that others wouldn't dare. Machiavelli famously said, "Fortune favors the bold." They don't wait for things to fall into place, they make things happen. But there's a risk: fortuna's volatile. Success based only on luck is shaky, because fortune can change in a blink. True mastery comes from blending virtù with the skill to navigate fortuna. The wicked don't wait for luck, they provoke it with their actions, adapting to whatever comes their way. But is this approach sustainable? When luck fades, what's left? One thing that stands out about the more ruthless types is their emotional detachment. While others freeze up from guilt or remorse, they just keep going. They act with cold precision, like a surgeon with a scalpel, but instead of healing, their aim is manipulation. To them, the world is a battlefield. Survival and victory outweigh morality. Their ability to move forward without hesitation without worrying about the consequences gives them a distinct advantage. If manipulation is required, they do it without flinching. Their greatest weapon is their ability to manipulate others. With cool strategic thinking, they exploit emotions without getting tangled up in them. It's like a poker player who holds a perfect bluff. They control the game while everyone else scrambles to figure them out. This emotional detachment makes those who play dirty highly effective, but it comes at a cost. Machiavelli actually warned that while a leader can be feared, they should never be hated. If you accumulate too many enemies, it's only a matter of time before it all comes crashing down, as history has shown time and again with tyrants and leaders whose lies were exposed. Living without guilt or empathy might seem like it gives you an edge, but it creates a hollow space inside, a void that no amount of success can fill. Sure, the wicked might seem to thrive in the short term, but the big question is, can that kind of success last? Success built on malice tends to make silent enemies and stir up hidden resentments. Coldness and manipulation can hold things together for a while, but eventually cracks will start to show and the whole system will come crumbling down. You can fool some people for a while, but not everyone, not forever. Machiavelli's point is that leaders who rely solely on fear end up isolated, and isolation, that's a leader's greatest weakness. Without trust, even your closest allies will vanish. When manipulation is the foundation of your success, paranoia sets in. You're constantly wondering who's plotting against you or when your lies will come to light. The higher you rise through deception, the more fragile your position becomes. Relationships stay shallow, and maintaining control becomes this never-ending battle. Just look at history. Dictators who started off seemingly invincible, but ended up alone, hated, and overthrown. Leaders whose reputations were shattered by a single scandal. Power built on unethical foundations is like a house of cards, impressive at first, but dangerously unstable. Machiavelli also pointed out how unpredictable fortune can be. The luck that once helped you climb can quickly turn against you. One wrong move or betrayal can destroy the carefully crafted image you've built. So it really begs the question, what does it mean to truly prosper? Sure, those who rise through manipulation may gain power and wealth, but their success is often empty. It's filled with emotional isolation and a constant sense of unease. Prosperity built on deceit is like a castle built on sand. Looks great until it all comes crumbling down, and when it falls, the descent is just as brutal as the rise was impressive. So, is it really worth selling your soul for success? Those who climb through malice pay a heavy price. Loneliness, paranoia, and a loss of connection to what actually matters. What's the point of success if it leaves you feeling empty and restless? Machiavelli's subtle warning is clear. While a leader may need to be feared, they must never be hated, because hatred always leads to downfall. The higher you climb by stepping on others, the more unstable your position becomes, and the more you risk falling, alone. Think of it like a building that looks impressive from the outside but is slowly corroding on the inside. It may shine at first, but it's destined to collapse. That's what happens when you trade in your values, your ethics, and real relationships for hollow success. At the end of the day, power, money, and victories can't buy you purpose or satisfaction. People who manipulate others are never truly content. They're always anxious, always fearing loss or betrayal, because they know exactly how the game works. They created it. So, what does it really mean to prosper? Is it all about wealth and power, or is there something deeper, a meaningful life? Only time will tell. What will matter more in the end? Material success or the people we've impacted, the way we lived, and the legacy we leave behind? Machiavelli showed us that being effective might mean making sacrifices, but finding balance is key. Strength and cunning can definitely get you far, but without values, any victory just feels empty. True success in the end is about peace of mind, real connections, and having a sense of purpose. What's the point of gaining everything if you lose yourself along the way? The real path to freedom lies in knowledge. So keep learning, and who knows, maybe you'll find your own kind of success.